And we are live. Welcome back for another Deadline stream. How are we all today? Good morning all. What a crazy morning it's been. Wow. So the Merseyside derby has been postponed. Liverpool and Everton are going to blank this game week. Brutal. Who was on Salah captain? I think most of us were, right? Maybe if you weren't, that's a bit annoying because there were other options this week like Palmer. But actually, I need to sort my captaincy out. At the moment, I've got it on Salah, so I guess I'll go Palmer. Not a chance to think about this. I think it'll be Palmer captain, Saka vice. Who's everyone captaining now? First question: who's your captain now? And then we'll talk about the postponement, what to do. Who's your captain? We'll stick a poll up for that. So we'll go Palmer, Saka. I guess Haaland another. I've not had a chance to drink my tea yet. They just announced last minute that the deadline's not moving. So let me stick this poll up and get a sip of my tea down me. Yeah, so the Game Week 15 deadline will remain at 11 AM UK time today. The poll is up. Get your votes in. Right, welcome all to the stream. Dragazeek, Jason, RJO. Yacino, Walter, Dr. Yazan, good to see you. Turge, Starboy, good to see lots of members in the chat. Welcome all to the stream. Unbelievable. Austin with the 28 months, he says, morning Oscar. Morning, Austin. Let me have a drink of this. New experts captaincy, good point. So I forget who the... I'm not going to be able to change it now. I wouldn't be able to work out who they're going for, but because Palmer and Haaland are both on 5%, I feel like Palmer's going to be the most captain now among the experts, just because his ownership was so much higher. So he'll be the most captain player now, I think by a mile. Haaland 1 goal, 1 assist. Why have they postponed it? It's because of Storm Dara. It's basically hit the west side of England really badly, so all games in the Welsh Premier League have been postponed, and it's also hit the further up north in England, so Liverpool's been hit hard by it. There's like 70-mile-per-hour winds in Liverpool, so it's for fan safety basically, but also modes of transport have been cancelled as well. Train lines, there's interruptions to train lines, so it's harder for fans to get to the game as well. So based on all that, they've had to postpone the game, which does mean that there'll be a double game week at some point. I mean, who's still got their triple captain? It could be something like this. Now that would be amazing. Annoyingly, I used mine on that Haaland Southampton game where he ended up with his second highest XG ever, and then he scored the 1 goal. It is what it is. But we could get a really nice double game week. We'll have to see how the fixtures fall for that. It could be something like that. Salah home to Wolves, away to Everton. Bowen, yeah, not a bad shout. I mean, if he can put up the same numbers as the last game and actually deliver on them, then definitely an option, yeah. Senya Lump says, morning Oscar, wishing you a good game, love you. Lawyers exams are done, thanks for your support. Well done, mate, smashed it. Hope you do well. Thoughts on Strand Larsen captain? Not sure about Strand Larsen. I think the best options would be Palmer, Haaland, Saka. I mean, outside of that, is there anyone obvious? Isak, I suppose, against Brentford. He's an option. So we're going to be live all the way till the deadline, which is remaining at 11 AM UK time. They're not moving the deadline back. I wondered if they might, because in the past they have, but they haven't moved it. Arcade says, teams Raya Lewis, Digne, Timber, Bowen, Saka, Palmer, Rogers, Cunha, João Pedro, Jackson. Got a bench, either Digne, Lewis or Ait Nouri. What to do? Out of those three, I'd probably bench Ait Nouri. I mean, we might get early team news now, because City have got the early kickoff, technically. Not really early, but the first kickoff of the game week, if you know what I mean. So we might even get some news on Lewis now they've got the first game week, or the first game of the game week. So I think I'd bench Ait Nouri. I'm not 100% whether Digne starts either, but it's such a great fixture. Like I don't think you can bench your Villa assets this week. As Ms. Haaland says, Digne might not start. Matson could get the nod. I feel like you probably have to take the chance this week because it's such a great fixture. 24k will, day 172 of calling Focal Smexy Geezer. Yeah, the deadline's still 11 o'clock UK time. So I'm going to have Wood. Next question for you then. Who's coming off your bench for your Liverpool assets? Oh yeah, it's updated now. Look, he's got the dash under his name. No fixture for Liverpool. So Salah goes to last on the bench. So my bench is a bit lighter now. Who's everyone got coming off the bench? Did you guys have just Salah or did you have more than one Liverpool asset? How's it looking for you guys? Semenyo, oh that's ideal. Rodgers and Lewis, that's not bad either. Not bad at all. Will any other matches be cancelled? I've not heard of any of the other games being under threat, so I think it would just be Liverpool. I mean, it's pretty windy down here. Like, hopefully there's no power cut or anything during the stream, but it's nowhere near as bad down the south. But it is horrendous out there. Free hit? I probably wouldn't free hit, even if you've got a couple of postponed players, to be honest. I mean, is there anyone out there that's got a bench of like Mikalenko or like Calvert-Lewin? That's brutal. That really goes to show the amount of luck in Everton, in FPL. Flame says, love the chaos peak FPL. Yeah, do you guys like the chaos or do you prefer it when it's normal service in FPL? Because it is chaos when you have this sort of thing. I don't think there's a case to be made for selling Salah and then buying him back, unless you've got like 5 free transfers and don't have Palmer or Saka, I guess. Outside of that, I just don't think it's... I think you just keep hold of them. I can understand the temptation if you've got tons of free transfers and a solid team, but like, other than that, it's just not worth selling them to buy them straight back for Fulham home. Nova says for 26 months, any chance Liverpool plays on Monday for this game week? No, I don't think it will. I think it's going to move to much later in the season now. I don't think they'd move it at such short notice like that. We'll see, but I'd be incredibly surprised. I think it goes way later in the season. Like maybe game week 25. I think it depends on the League Cup as well. And if they make the League Cup final and where the available slots are. Why is the game postponed? It's because of Storm Dara. The weather in Wales in particular and Liverpool and some other areas is really bad. Like up to 70-mile-per-hour gusts. So it's fan safety and like some modes of transport have been cancelled. Train lines have been cancelled. So it's for a few reasons basically. So the deadline is going to stay at 11 o'clock though. So we're going to be here all the way till the deadline. So thanks all for being here. So yeah, who have you got coming off your bench? Rodgers is a decent one. That saves you a headache in a way. Watkins, oh, Watkins cap. I was going to say, you have to start Watkins regardless. Chaos means opportunity, says Jurgen. So Captain Poll, 43% Palmer, 35% Saka, 10% Haaland, and 12% other. So let me grab the updated projections then to see what it's saying this week on FPL Review. In terms of pure goal scorer odds, that's how it looks. Obviously Salah irrelevant now, but Haaland and Watkins are joint favourites anytime to score. Oh, this is interesting. Okay, so Haaland's actually marginally ahead. So yeah, if you've got Haaland, perhaps he's the best option now. These are the updated projections as of right now. So Haaland 6.4, Palmer 6.3, and then it's Watkins, Bruno, Saka, Salah. So Salah, his game was flagged at 80%. Obviously that will now update to 0% and he'll have nothing for this week. And Bumo Bowen. So yeah, I've got Palmer. That was my initial thought. I'll go Palmer. So Palmer captain for me. Stick a follow-up poll then. Do you like the chaos in FPL? Yes or no? A simple question. Get your votes in. Blue Boy says 2 free transfers, Salah and Haaland. No Palmer and Saka. Any advice? This is actually a great question because you've got two. Do you go Salah to Palmer and then straight back, or maybe sell Haaland? I'd be tempted, you know. Has anyone else got this dilemma? I think with 2 free transfers, and if you've got Haaland, you could go Salah to Palmer, and then you use your 2 free transfers to downgrade Haaland and get Salah back in. It is a bit messy, but there are like definite points on the table in that situation. Oh yeah, sorry, I have to message my girlfriend really quick, so I was telling her I wasn't sure when I'm streaming. Alright, done. You know what, Blue Boy? I feel like that's an opportunity to go Salah to Palmer. And then, unless you really want to set and forget Haaland, in which case don't do it. But then I'd look to downgrade Haaland and bring Salah back in. That's what I would do. You have a girlfriend? I do. FPL before the misses. I forgot to message her. I said I'd let her know what's going on with it, because I wasn't sure if I was going to be streaming later and finishing later. I think I'd do it, Blue Boy. Just because of the points on the table there, and the opportunity to get rid of Haaland, to then get Palmer, to get Salah back. No live football at 12:30 PM. What do I do with myself? Good question. I don't know what I'm going to do either. Have lunch and wait for the 3 PM games. Watch this until 11 o'clock, I suppose. Surely, if 12:30 is postponed, the deadline should be 1:30. That's what I thought. That's what I thought would happen. RuneScape. Yeah, you could just go shop an Ivy. I don't know. That's what I thought. That's what's going to happen, because they've moved. They've had the first games of game weeks postponed in the past, and the deadline pushed back. But they've officially tweeted that the deadline will remain at 11 AM. So, yeah, no deadline change. No deadline change. It's going to be 11 o'clock regardless. Clean sheet odds, there they are. Obviously, ignore Liverpool on this now. Arsenal top. This is from 11 of Fire. Arsenal on 42%, Villa 39%, Man United, City, West Ham, Bournemouth, Brighton. Rock bottom, obviously Southampton. Chelsea just 14% for the Tottenham game. That's surprisingly low. I really don't mind captain and Palmer, I have to say, by the way, because Romero, he's probably out again. Van der Ven's out. Now Davies is out with a hamstring injury. Vicario's out. They're missing 3 of their first 4 choice centre-backs and their keeper, right? It's not a bad game for Palmer, that one, at all. So yeah, I think I'd do it, Blue Boy. It makes sense to me. It's an opportunity to upgrade your team this week and hop off Haaland the following. Jared says, would you do Porro to Timber this week? Or I could do Mikalenko to a 4.4, but I don't like any of the options. Not a fan of the Spurs defence. Yeah, I'd go to Timber if it was me, Jared. I'd go to Timber. I don't feel great about having Porro, I'll be honest, based on everything I just said about all their defenders and the keeper out. But I ended up thinking it's probably sensible just to play him, because I'm not sure Brighton keep a clean sheet either, if I'm honest. So I've got Porro starting. But I'm on triple Arsenal anyway. Yeah, Everton game is postponed, Tommy. So Liverpool and Everton will blank this week. We won't score any points from them. As you can see, he's last on my bench now with a blank underneath him. So change your captaincy and vice captaincy now. No point leaving it on Salah. You won't get anything from him. Nicholas says, I've got Trent, Gabriel, 8 Nori, Mikalenko, Fast, 1 free transfer. I'm risking only having 2 transfers if Gabriel's out. Would you do Mikalenko to Hall or not? So it's Gabriel, 8 Nori, Miko, Fast. Yeah, I'd do it. I mean, Everton's fixtures are horrendous. Yeah, is there anyone else outside of Hall? I think you've got it right there. I think it has to be Hall. 3 really nice fixtures ahead as well. I can't think of anyone else. I mean, Senesi could be out for the season, so that Howson lad, he's like 4.3 mil. He scored last game, but I think Hall makes more sense, given he's more attacking and he's got slightly better fixtures as well. I would do it, yeah. I mean, Everton's upcoming games are horrendous. obviously the blank this week now. Tommy says, I've tripled up on Everton players. I mean, it's time to sell your Everton players. I mean, the fixtures anyway, as I say, are pretty horrendous. So it's a blank now, and then it would be Arsenal, Chelsea, City, Forest, Bournemouth, Villa. Really, really rough run ahead for Dyche and Everton. I mean, I don't even know if I'll go to any Everton players whenever that double game week drops in. Dr. Yazan said, could you answer my question on your experts video? Sorry, Yazan, I missed that. Let me see if I can find it now on my phone. Apologies. Maybe ask it again in chat and I'll answer it that way. Yeah, I'm struggling to find it. Can you copy and paste it in the chat, Yazan? I've scrolled back to like 15 hours ago, but I don't see it here. Oh, I found it. So your team is Keller, Fabianski, Gabriel Gomez, Lewis, Justin Anderson, Salah, Saka, Palmer, Bruno, Rodgers, João Pedro, Jackson, Cunha. You got one free transfer. Should you replace Keller with a Brugum or Anderson / Lewis by a cheap defender like Colwell or Emerson, or just roll the transfer? So you've got Kelleher and Salah now not playing. You've got Palmer and Saka, and you've got Gomez as well. So your defence would be Gabriel, Lewis, and Justin. I think I'd roll. Here. The only other move I can see is Justin to Hull. That could be worth it. We're talking about Hull just now. He's got really nice games and he's like 4.4 mil, I think. So change your captaincy. I'd captain Palmer, vice Saka. I prefer him to Bruno, to answer your question on Bruno as well. Mohammed says, so I transferred Lewis out for Trent yesterday. Yeah, I think a lot of people brought Trent in, which is pretty brutal. Let me just check the price changes from last night. There's the price changes. Oh, there they are. Wow, there's loads last night. Yeah, Trent went up last night. He's 7 million now. Gomez went up as well. Who brought in Trent or Gomez? That's quite unlucky. Sorry, Will. I'm just working through it. Yeah, I think Yazan, I'd go Justin to Hull. That's what I would do here. Your team's nice. It's just a defence now because of the postponements. Just keep Keller and play Fabianski. Chin Lloyd says, I'm going to captain Saka. Semenyo's coming on for Salah. I've also gone for the 2 Wolves forwards and Bowen, hoping for a crazy game, not a 0-0 draw. I'm hoping so as well. They're calling it El Sakiko, this one, because it's O'Neill versus Lopetegui. Both managers really underperforming. Could be the last game for one of them. Maybe both if it's a draw. I mean, who gets sacked first, Lopetegui or O'Neill? I suppose the answer is whoever loses this game, right? It's a must-win for both teams, really. I'm hoping that doesn't equate to a boring game. I'd like to see lots of goals, because I've got 3 players in that game myself. Yeah, I don't hate Saka captain either. Tuna says, Greaves to Timber and Mbumo to Semenyo. Yeah, I like that. That's a nice pair of moves. I mean, unless you can afford Gabriel, then I like him even more. As always, Arteta was used for this, and he said something like, you know, he's got a chance, we'll see after training later, so hard to say. I like Gabriel more longer term, but I think Timber's great. Great pick. I like those moves, yeah. Obviously, Bournemouth got nice games as well. Ipswich, West Ham, Man United, Crystal Palace, Fulham. Doy says, Oscar, you're a bloody legend, matey. Thanks very much, Doy. Appreciate that. Hello, friend says, hi, Focal. Should I transfer Ødegaard for Rashford? Ødegaard for Rashford. I actually don't hate the Ødegaard pick. But I'm not sure if I'd do that. It's not a bad game for Rashford. I think I'd just leave him in this week and see what happens home to Forest. It's not a bad fixture at all. Will the United game get cancelled as well? I've not heard anything on that. I don't think the weather's hit Manchester as badly, so I don't think so. 69% like the chaos in FPL, 31% don't. Will, thanks for the super chats as well. He says, do I start 8 Nori or Colwell? I'd go 8 Nori. Far more attacking, and he'll have slightly better clean sheet odds as well. So I'd go 8 Nori, Will. Lee Crew says, Visser fine off the bench or transferring João Pedro? No, I think Visser's fine. That's a nice auto sub. Leave him in, Lee Crew. Visser's great. I mean, I'm not 100% that João Pedro starts. I saw a predicted lineup as well from FPL Instinctive. I'll show you guys it. He does predictions every week. He's a Brighton fan, so, you know, he knows more than me when it comes to Brighton. And that was the lineup he predicted with the percentage likelihoods of them starting by each name. So he's got João Pedro on 55%. So we'll see. I mean, it depends on Welbeck. It's hard to say. Welbeck obviously missed the last game. I mean, Ferguson could come in either way. But he's not that confident in a João Pedro start. He's got Duncan Van Heck as likely, so I'm glad about that because I've got Van Heck first on my bench. Adam says, Delap to Evan Nilsson or Strand Larsen? I'd go Evan Nilsson. He's looking good recently. Really lucky not to score last match. Well, he did score, didn't he? But it was offside. Spurs got away with that. Playing out from the back, got dispossessed, and Evan Nilsson scored. But yeah, I like Evan Nilsson. Nice fixtures. I mean, Strand Larsen, he's got 3 decent games, but that's it. I think Evan Nilsson's more of a longer-term hold. Rio says, Wood to João Pedro is a no-brainer, right? I'm not so sure based on that graphic that we pulled up just then. On the potential bench in there. Faizan says, Oscar and Cole Palmer, twins separated at birth. Did you see Alex Volo did another face swap? I was scrolling through my Twitter feed. And this pops up. If I can find it. I was just casually scrolling Twitter. That pops up and I was like, hang on. He's done it again. Absolutely like no mention that it's me, but I commented below. I was like, hold up. I don't see the resemblance. Do I look like Palmer? Yeah, I don't know if I would do that, Rio. If I'm totally honest, thinking about it now. I don't know if I would. It's a really nice game for Brighton, but it just feels like, is it another Jackson scenario? Where you're looking at someone who looks great with a great fixture, but does the manager see that as an opportunity to rotate some players? You know what I mean? Of course you do. You could pass for brothers. Maybe we were brothers separated at birth. I don't know. Possibly. He went a better direction than me. Yeah, so I don't know. I don't know about bringing João Pedro in. I know like lots of you probably did, but Wood, you just know he's going to start against Man United. I don't know if I would buy João Pedro. I feel like I'd probably hold him. Hold on to Wood. Hold Wood. Struggling with this game says, I was going to do Porro to Trent. Should I start Porro and roll? Or shift Lewis /8 Nori to Timber? He's got 2.9 mil in the bank. I think I'd leave it. Obviously those moves look nice. That looks nice this week, buying Timber. But Trent's more of a priority for me. I'm looking to buy him game week 16. I was a bit gutted not to have him this week, but it would be a -4 for me. So that postponement's kind of a bit of a blessing in a way. Tommy says, like the stream, people. Yeah, like the stream if you're enjoying it. We're live all the way till the deadline for the next 90 minutes, so I appreciate you all being here. I'll answer as many questions as possible. Make sure you subscribe as well if you're new around here. No, I'd leave it. I'd buy Trent next week. Mbob says, getting Trent or Van Dijk next week. 5.5 million midfielder and Trent, or 6.1 million and Van Dijk. Got Rodgers and Mbumo. What mid? Transfer this week or next game week? You've already got Rodgers as well. Can't think of anyone. That's the problem for if you've already got Rodgers. I'll do it next week though. I would much rather have Trent for the extra 0.5 or whatever he is over Van Dijk. I struggle to think of someone right now, that's the thing. If you've got 4 playable mids and 3 playable forwards, then you could just go for Dibbling or Buonanotte. But I struggle to think of someone, in which case I'd just leave Mbeumo for another week and then make those moves next week. I don't think there's anyone for 5.5 and less that's not already Rodgers that's an upgrade on Mbeumo, if you see what I mean. So I would just roll and then reassess next week. Like maybe you make a third move, even if it's for a -4. Just because someone like Semenyo is worth it for a bit extra. Kyle brought in Enzo. Yeah, is anyone else looking at Enzo? I'm still not sure on him. He's never been a great FPL asset, but he's doing well recently. Is he going to start every game though? Or is there, going to be games where it's Caicedo and Lavia in the pivot and Enzo on the bench? But yeah, nice fixtures to be fair. I want to get to Jackson somehow, but I'm not sure how I'm going to do it yet if I buy Trent. Might not be doable for a while. Next week, I'm looking to go... I'll show you my moves. Game week 16, I'm looking to do potentially Porro to Colwill and Vardy to Trent. So that'll get me Trent home to Fulham, Colwill home to Brentford. Really nice long-term fixtures for Chelsea as well. Brentford, Everton, Fulham, Ipswich, Palace, Bournemouth, Wolves. That's my current thoughts for Game week 16, but we'll see. Anurag says, hi Focal, now my bench is Greaves, Salah, Mikalenko and Colwill. Gabriel Lewis and João Pedro all starting, 0.2 in the bank. Any transfers I should make? Probably not. Just thinking who you could sell Miko for. Like, I like Hull, because he's got what, Brentford, is it Leicester and Ipswich is his next 3? I quite like that. Turn the music down a bit. Is that too quiet now? There we go. No, I think I'd leave it. I can't think of anyone this week. Trent was 6.9 1 hour ago. He's gone up despite the postponement. Well, he went up last night, yeah. Overnight price changes. So that's unfortunate. Did anyone buy Trent? Any new Trent owners here that now get a blank? Is there anyone I'm forgetting in terms of cheap defenders? I think it's just Hull. I probably wouldn't go for like Dunk or Van Heck. But it's your bench anyway, so I think I'd leave it. Just keep an eye out for leaks. Like City have now technically got the early kickoff. If Lewis is benched, then I'd sell Mikalenko for Hull and bench Lewis. Adam says Evan Nilsson or Visser. I'd go Evan Nilsson. Better fixtures, Bournemouth are doing well. They're actually 6th best for expected goals this season, which is pretty unbelievable when you think about it. Really well run club, Bournemouth. I feel like they've been on the rise for quite a few years now since coming up. Getting better and better. Iriola's done an unbelievable job there. It's a good time to be a Cherries fan. Yeah, I'd say Evan Nilsson. I mean, Ipswich, that's a nice fixture. One of the worst defences in the league as well. CMD says, if I'm on 10 men, would you take a hit for a 6 million midfielder? If so, who? Yeah, I would. If you're only on 10, it's worth it. As they say, when you're only on 10 or less men, a -4 is technically a -2. Assuming that who you bring in gets at least 2 points, it's technically a -2 hit, isn't it? I'd say Semenyo would be my number 1. And then Rodgers. I'm so behind on chat. Darren Nash says, take a hit for Garnacho to Saka as a Salah sub. Garnacho to Saka. Yeah, I think that's worth it. I like that. Because does Garnacho start? It's quite hard to figure out who Amrin's going to start. And I think he's still figuring out his best 11, to be honest. I'd say that's worth it. Long term, you'll absolutely get those 4 points back. More chaos coming. The Athletic are predicting Gabriel out. Are you serious? I haven't seen that. I've not seen that. But do they have any inside news though, or are they just speculating? The Athletic. I'm not seeing anything there, but I'm sure you're telling the truth. I mean, I've got Van Heck, so it's not too bad. Plus, I've got Greaves, but if anyone else misses out, then I'm running really light. Bertman says bench one out of Diblin, Greaves, and Pinnock. It's quite difficult, that one. I'd probably say Pinnock. Start the attacker. What's the clean sheet odds say on that? So Brentford, 19% chance. Ipswich, 18. So there's nothing between them, to be fair. I think I'd start Greaves there. Start Dibbling, bench Pinnock. But yeah, that's a 50-50, that one. Becky says Haaland and Mbumo plus Diaz to Isak, Saka and Palmer and a 4.9 million mid. Yeah, that's worth it. That's worth it, Becky. You'll have to go Dibbling. I don't think there's anyone for 4.9 mil or less. That's the only thing, but I'd say that's worth it. Diaz won't play, and Mbumo's taken one shot in the last 5 game weeks. Haaland, we'll see, but you're swapping Haaland for 3. Oh, it's Saka or Palmer. I'd go Isak, Palmer, and 4.9, yeah. I'd say that's worth it. I think it'll have to be Diblin. I can't think of anyone else. Chris says, hi Oscar, Dunk, Diblin, or 8 Nori in for Salah. I'd say Dunk. Best clean sheet odds in terms of Dunk versus 8 Nori. Pretty close, obviously, because 8 Nori's got the goal for it, but Wolves just cannot keep a clean sheet to save their life. I mean, the clean sheet odds say that Dunk's got a decent chance, and I was really conflicted as well on Porro versus Van Heck. Obviously, Porro's underlying numbers are even better than 8 Nori's, so I ended up landing on Porro, and he's got the home fixture. Yeah, I'd say Dunk out of those. 40 says, hi Focal, Gabriel to Saliba this week, free transfer. I wouldn't do it. I think it's too sideways, unless there's a reliable leak that he's out. Unless there's some reliable leak that he's out. I just think that's too sideways. I'll keep an eye for leaks, but I don't think I'd do that. I don't think I'd do that. Guy says, keep Solanke or sell to someone like Jackson / Havertz. I like Jackson more than Havertz, if I was picking between those two. Will Salah not play today? No game for Liverpool or Everton today. Both games will have a postponement. As far as I'm aware, Chris, no other chances of a postponement. It's just that Liverpool-Everton game at the moment, but we'll see as we're near the deadline. I feel like if it was a possibility, they would have assessed it this morning as well and had a meeting, but it's just Liverpool v Everton as it stands. Yeah, I think I'd get rid of Solanke and go for Jackson. He's had his rest. Chelsea are just much better right now. Havertz is great as well, don't get me wrong, but I'd like Jackson. The long-term fixtures are just too good. And as I said earlier, I'm looking to try and get Jackson myself. Alex, thanks so much for the £10 super chat. He says, use my free transfer on Friday to bring in Trent. And Alex's team is now Ryan Lewis, Gabriel, Mazraoui, Rogers, and Mbumo, Palmer captain, Johnson, Solanke, Cunha and João Pedro with Salah and Trent on the bench. And he says, shall I make another move from -4? Nah, you don't need to, Alex. Lewis, Gabriel, Mazraoui is fine. Unless there's news that Lewis is benched, then I would. Then I'd go Lewis to Hull. Man City have got, obviously, technically the early kickoff, the first game of the game week. So we might get news on Lewis now. I'd just keep an eye on that. If no news, I'd leave it. It's not the end of the world. Lewis against Palace, rested last match. Mazraoui home to Forest. Sorry, Mark. Let me scroll back up. Struggling to keep up today. Mark said, Mbumo to Semenyo is a -4 worth Van den Berg to Konsa. Or suggestion, or any suggestion as you've got Trent and Salah. Other players in the defence are Lewis, Aina, 8 Nori, midfielders Palmer, Saka, Smith Rowe. For -4, I don't think I'd do that. I don't think it's the end of the world to play Lewis, Aina and Ait Nori. And then just bench Vandenberg. No, I don't think I'd do it, Mark. Sorry I missed your message. Bumo to Smenu I like. For -4, no, I wouldn't do it. I'd just leave it and hope for the best. You never know. Forest could go to Old Trafford and keep a clean sheet. It's not out of the question, given how good they've been. Sohan says, start Colwell or Greaves, thanks. Colwell or Greaves? I think I'd start Colwell there. Go for Colwell. I mean, it's 50-50 that one. Neither of them have great clean sheet odds, but I'd start Colwell. Start the defender from the better team. It's hard to imagine either keeping a clean sheet, if I'm honest, but I'd start Colwell. James, thanks for the super chat. Did you forget to put a message in that? If you want to ask it in chat, James, I'll try and keep an eye out for that. Or if that was just a super chat to support me, then thank you very much. Adam says, should I take a -4 for Konate to Hall, Van Heck or Mazraoui? Depends on the rest of your defence, Adam. I wouldn't take a -4 unless you literally don't have a playable defence. Ziggy says, hey Oscar, what's the name of the music you use? This one's actually on my channel. I made this one myself. If you go onto my channel, you'll see a little playlist called Music, which is where this song and the other remixes are. George says, sorry, just joined. What happens with the Liverpool game? So that's postponed. So Liverpool players and Everton players won't get any points this week, and it'll move to another game week. So we might get a double game week later in the season. It could be something like Salah home to Wolves, away to Everton, which would be a really nice double game week. So James said, do I sell Johnson, Orr and Bumo for either Bowen or Gordon? Keep hold of Johnson. I think he's a solid pick still. And Bumo out. I like that. Bowen or Gordon. It's pretty 50-50 between them. I really like Bowen, which is why I went for him. But Gordon's immediate fixtures are even better. I mean, Newcastle are a better team, so I'd say just on that basis, go for Gordon. Go for Gordon. I think Mbumo's got to be a sell, right? One shot in 5 games. It's just... I mean, I sold him last week and I traded Mbumo's 2-pointer for Bowen's 2 points, but that was quite unlucky. Like 1.62 XGI for Bowen last week. He did everything right, but get the points. I couldn't believe what I was watching. He set up some great chances with teammates, so I like Bowen as well. But now the deadline's going to stay at 11 AM, JC, so we're live for the next hour 15 all the way till the deadline. FIFA player says, thinking Watkins captaincy thoughts. Yeah, I rate the Watkins captaincy, absolutely. Home to Southampton, pretty much the best fixture you can have. They've got players out still. I could see them winning that like 3-0. The only thing is, does he come off early? Some super chats were missed, were they? I think I got them all. I'm still working down the list. There's just a few left that I can see here. Yeah, I think Watkins is a good captain. On the projections, it's pretty close. Haaland's top, and then it's Palmer, and then it's Watkins. Bobby says, thank God I tuned in. I had Salah as captain. Is it good time to get rid of Mbumo? 2.8 million in the bag. Any good replacements? Cheers for the content, mate. Good luck, have fun. Thanks for the super chat, Bobby. I think it's time to get rid of him, yeah. With 2.8 mil, I don't think there's anyone using that 2.8 mil that you could get to. That's worth buying, sorry. I would say Bowen or Gordon. And I'd probably go Gordon just based on his next 3. So Newcastle's next 3 are Brentford away, Leicester home, Ipswich away. Now that's an insane run of 3 games. 3 of the worst teams defensively this season. So that's what I would do. Monk says, the plan was to roll and do Isak in as part of a double move next week for Wood, but I do have the exact cash to do Wood out for Jackson this week. It's tempting. If you've got the exact money, then I think that's worth it this week. Yeah, Wood to Jackson makes sense to me. It is an upgrade. Luke reckons Lewis will play. I wouldn't be surprised either after the benching last week, but you never know with Pep. We might have some news. We might. I just realised I've been saying we might have news by the deadline, thinking the deadline's moved back, but it hasn't. So we won't get news on Lewis. Ignore what I said earlier about that. Yeah, I'll do Wood to Jackson. I think Jackson's slightly better than Isak, longer term. If I was picking between the two, there's no point going Isak next week, because then you've missed Brentford, right? So I'd just say go Jackson. Adam says, I've got Colwell, Gabriel and Aït-Nouri. Yeah, that's fine. I'd say that's fine, Adam. I'd just leave it. Play those three. Not worth a -4. Just play them. Tuna says, Gabriel, Timber, Aït-Nouri, Hall and Konsa start 3. Start Konsa, start Timber, and I'd start Hall. And bench Aït-Nouri. Bobby, can you read my previous one? You missed it. Sorry, Bobby. Yeah, I'm working through them. I did get to it eventually. Bit of a backlog here. Nearly there. Mark says, great content. I only have one playable player on the bench this week, which is Lewis. And he's a risk as it is. Is it crazy taking a hit to improve the bench? No, I'd never take a hit just for the bench. It doesn't make any sense to me. I'd only do it if there was someone like... if there was a leak that someone's out. Otherwise, it's just not worth a hit to improve your bench. I mean, even a free transfer to improve your bench is a bit overkill, but when it's this chaotic and there's massive rotation risks, it's not that bad this time of the season, but normally I wouldn't ever make a transfer for my bench. Unless it was a combination transfer, like I had to make 2 moves and bench one player to fund another one. But otherwise, I wouldn't do that. Mafio says, is Daka playable? I'm not sure if he'll start. That's the thing. So I wouldn't play him. Any Leicester fans in the chat able to confirm that? I'll be surprised if he starts. He did score, didn't he, off the bench last match? I'll give him that. But I'd imagine Vardy starts again. Maybe Daka starts, but I wouldn't be starting him in my FPL team. And lastly, Enshock says, Wood to Jackson or Isak. By the way, I love your fashion. Thanks very much, Enshock. Yeah, I'd go Jackson between those two. Better longer term fixtures. I mean, look at that run. I mean, even Spurs is not a bad fixture. They've got Romero probably out again, Van der Ven out, Davies out, Vicario out. Like, what's their backline even going to be? Udogie, Drager's in, Gray in centre-back and Porro right-back? Anyway, Spurs, Brentford, Everton, Fulham, Ipswich, Palace, Bournemouth, Wolves, City, West Ham. It's just such a great long-term run that I'd go Jackson. Captaincy poll. Okay, let's stick one up. So we'll go Palmer, Haaland, Saka, and other. And if you go other, message in chat. Who is your other? Andy says, morning, do I do Salah and Jackson to Haaland and Semenyo? No, I wouldn't do that, Andy. You're literally going to want Salah straight back next game week. And if you've only got 2 moves, that's a -4 then. It's not worth it. Like, he's home to Fulham in game week 16, where everyone's going to be captaining. Maybe not everyone, actually. Palmer's home to Brentford, but you don't want to go about Salah for that. It's just quite a high-risk play. You're using up 2 moves, and then you have to presumably take a -4 to get back. It's unlikely to come off. Bradley says Semenyo or Cliver. I go Semenyo. A lot of Watkins captainers. Yeah, good shout. I like Watkins. Buy Matoma or Gordon? Gordon. Are you wearing pants? I am wearing pants. Amy Pants says 2v transfer. 3.1 million in the bank. Team is Fleck and Mazzari, Gabriel, Colwell, Mikalenko, Salah, Saka, and Mbumo, Palmer, Semenyo, Cunha, Strand Larson, benches, Valdemarson, Greaves, Wood. Suggestions. 3.1 in the bank. I'd be tempted to go Flecken to Raya. And maybe spend the second move on Mbumo to Semenyo. Oh, sorry. You've got Semenyo. Mbumo to Gordon. That's what I would do. Those are two really nice moves. Like, Flecken's just not it. They get 1 clean sheet, I think, in 14 games. Are you on triple Arsenal? You're not, are you? You've got Gabriel, Saka. And you've got enough, more than enough to go Flecken to Raya. I'd go Flecken to Raya, and then you either roll the second transfer or go Mbumo to Gordon. I think both are okay, because on the one hand, you might want to go Mbumo down to Rodgers, game week 16, to then upgrade a defender to Trent. But I would do the Flecken to Raya move. I think you just do it now. And then make a call on that second move. I don't think it's that bad to just keep Mbumo for 1 week and then spend 2 moves to get Trent. Because I really, really want Trent from game week 16, Fulham home onwards. Best player, best defender for XGI this season. Best defence for XGC. Incredible fixtures. Ticks all the boxes. So I'm looking to buy Trent as a priority game week 16. So I'll do Raya and then make a call on that second move. Tim says, is it worth voluntary transfer João Pedro to Evan Nilsson or roll? I'd just roll, Tim. I would just roll with João Pedro. If he starts, it's an unbelievable fixture. Tim, 10 gifted as well. Holy shit. Thanks so much, Tim, for the 10 gifted. If you got one of those from Tim, make sure you thank him. Welcome to all the new members as well. Spam some focal emojis in the chat if you are a member or just got gifted one. Tim, you're a legend. Thanks so much for that. Yeah, you got to keep João Pedro when he's got Leicester, even if he is a doubt to start. I mean, he did still come off early, so maybe that points to towards another start. But yeah, I think it's 50-50 on him, but I feel like you have to keep him. Gus, thanks for the super chat as well. Thanks very much, Gus Tinham, for the super chat there. Sean says, Dallo or Konsa? I've got Gabriel and Timber starting. I would go Konsa. Amazing clean sheet odds this week. Simon says, my defence needs Sergio. He's got Gabriel, Van Dijk, Digne, Davis, Kanate, 1.1 million in the bank. I was going to bank, but now with Virgil out, please help. I can't do Timber. Why don't you just play Gabriel, Digne and Davis? I don't think that's so bad. The thing is, I think Colwell's probably the best 4.5 mil defender. It's not even close, but you don't want to buy him this week. But you could go Kanate to Colwell, just so you've got depth if Gabriel misses out. I was talking about it earlier. Like, I'd never take a -4 to improve my bench, which someone was talking about doing. But I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do it for a -4, but I'd be tempted to do it when you've got Virgil definitely out. You've got Gabriel, who's a doubt. I think Davis is fine. Yeah, I think I'd just do Kanate to Colwell. Like, there's other defenders with a slightly better fixture this week, but long term, I think he's just the one. And I'm looking to buy him next week. Colwell's a rotation risk over the festive period. I'm not totally convinced he is. So he was benched last match, but he'd played every available minute this season. And I just think Maresca looked at that Southampton game. You know, they were missing Ramsdale, Downs, Dibbling, Harwood, Bellis. He could have played his entire B team and still comfortably won. And he did rotate heavily. I think he was conscious of that, and he saw that from a mile off, and that's why he rotated Colwell out. I still think he's... I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but I think he's still nailed. But, I mean, maybe he'll think the same when they've got Ipswich, for example. But I think it's worth it for 4.5 mil. So, Kanate to Colwell. Kay, thanks for the super chat as well. I think there's another one further down. I'll get to that in a sec. Tim, thanks again for the 10 gifted. I'm really struggling to keep up with chat today. Akshat says Jackson or Isak. I'd go Jackson, Akshat. Pretty close, but I'd say Jackson. Better longer term fixtures. Matthew says, which defender would you start? 4.3 million or under? 4.3 million. Are there any for that amount? I think Howson's 4.3 for Bournemouth, isn't he? If he can lock down that spot with Semenyo out for the season. Who else is there for 4.3? I don't think there's anyone. I'm not sure there's anyone for 4.3 mil. Like, it's just the 4 mil defenders, like Greaves and that. He's the only one I can think of. Howson from Bournemouth, who I think is 4.3. Senesi out long term. He scored last match as well, Howson. Badiashile, nah, I wouldn't go there. Too risky. He's got to be a big rotation risk because they've got other options in right centre back, right? Dizassi, Badiashile, Adara, Bayo. Anderson's 4.3. Yeah, but he's out this game week, right? So he's not an option either. Stevie Boy says, and Mbeumo Viss are out for Isak and Semenyo or Roll. Oh, that's a nice pair of moves. I like that. I'd say that's worth it. I like Jackson even more than Isak, but Isak's great if you want to go Isak. They're both excellent. I would do that. I think it's a great time to hop off Brentford. Viss is still doing pretty well, to be fair. And Mbeumo's not, but the fixtures are bad. There are swings to take advantage of there. Isak's games are incredible. Jackson's are. Semenyo's are decent. I would do that, Stevie. Connor says, Focal, Haaland versus Palmer captaincy, game odds, etc. Interestingly, reviews got them dead even. The anytime goal scorer odds have Haaland top, but obviously it's not just about pure goal scoring odds because Palmer's got far more potential to assist. If I had Haaland and Palmer, I'd think I'd still go Palmer. But Watkins is right up there. Bruno, Saka. Obviously Salah's a no-go now. Dimitri says, I need to play Wood, Bruno and Johnson. Would you transfer anyone out with one free transfer, 0.4 million, or roll to fund future moves? These are the goal scorer odds, by the way. You need to play Wood, Bruno, Johnson. With 0.4 mil on the bank, then no. I'd leave it. I would leave it and play all three. Because there's no one you can get to one free transfer. I'd just leave it a week and then make a call in game week 16, Dimitri. Kay says start 3 out of Gabriel, Virgil, Kirkes, Dina, 8 Nori. So Virgil's won't play anyway, so it's the other 4. I'd play Gabriel. And I'd play Kirkes and Dina. Those are the 3 I'd start. Digbit says, I think people are sleeping on Fernandes. Anders capped him. Yeah, I mean, he's right up there on the projected points, but I don't know. It's Forest home. Forest have been really solid defensively. I think there's better options, but I don't hate Bruno. I don't hate the Bruno pick, but I think there's better options. Personally. I'd say Watkins is better, Palmer, Haaland. But maybe he's like 4th best. He's not a terrible pick. Now that Salah won't play. Henry says, start 2, bench 1. Cunha, Strand Larsen and João Pedro. Tricky one, this. Because I don't know if I've still got it open, but Brighton fans are predicting a possible benching for João Pedro. So do take a chance on that and start Strand Larsen. I would be very tempted to just go Cunha and Strand Larsen and bench João Pedro if it was me. But maybe you hedge. I think I'd go Cunha and João Pedro and just hedge so you're not all in on Wolves. How are we doing, Neve? Yeah, I think João Pedro and Cunha, Henry. Any other danger of other postponements? I've not heard anything on any other games, so I think we're okay as far as all the other games. Spelt Foden wrong in the team news. What did I write? Eve Foden. Whoops. Let me fix that. There we go. Sorted. Yeah, I mean, starting João Pedro is chasing the upside, basically. So, João Pedro and Cunha. Gov FPL says, Mikalenko to Howson, worth of transfer, 1 free transfer. Have you got nothing in the bank? I mean, he's not totally nailed. There is it Hill? There's some other Bournemouth centre-back, you know, who will be competing, but you'd imagine it his spot to lose, though, right? After scoring last match and keeping a clean sheet. Excuse me. If you've got nothing in the bank and you need to start them, then I suppose that's literally your only option. There is Greaves, but he's got Bournemouth, that's okay. Wolves, and then it's like Newcastle, Arsenal, Chelsea. The other 4 mils aren't great either. So yeah, he's a potential option for 4.3 mil. I couldn't think of any other ones. Like like Laser says, Euro's 4.3 mil, but no idea if he starts now. That's exactly it. Does he start? John says, morning Oscar, what have I missed? Nothing really, besides Liverpool versus Everton has been postponed. That's a blank gaming for both teams. How's your day been, Oscar? Not really started yet. I got up early this morning and I was just keeping an eye on the news to see if that game was postponed or not, and it has been. So Liverpool and Everton won't play this game week, so that's going to move to a later game week this season as a probable double game week. So that's kind of annoying in the sense that I've used my triple captain, because now that looks like a prime opportunity to use it, but never mind. Hey, maybe the mystery chip will be better used in that game week. I guess we'll find out soon what the mystery chip is, because they said December. What's the mystery chip? Any ideas? Any speculation what you think it is? Mark says Salah and Bruno Vis are out for Haaland, Madueke and Mitoma. No, I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do that. Because the problem is, you're going to want to get Salah straight back in for Fulham home, and then it's a -4. And Madueke, he's not guaranteed to start either in this December run. I don't think he starts every game. All-out attack. No, it won't be all-out attack. It'll be something better than that. Free hit, triple captain and bench boost all in one. Imagine. Mystery chip is another free transfer. That'd be the most boring chip ever. Unlimited budget? I don't think it'll be that, because that's basically a free hit. No, it won't be a wildcard either. I'm not sold on any of these ideas yet. If this was Dragon's Den, all these ideas would be getting shut down. Triple captain advice ×2? Nah, it won't be that either. It'd be something completely different. If it was based on an existing chip or closely resembled an existing chip, that'd be too boring. They wouldn't do it. It'd just get so much criticism. All players double points. That'd be overpowered. That's too swingy. Strikers score double. Yeah, it could be something like that. Optimise your team. The best captain and bench brought in automatically. Could be something like that. Pinner says Captain Palmer will try the upside of Boner Isak. No, I'd go Palmer. I think he's the best captain this week, personally. Now that Salah's out. Otherwise, I was going to go Salah. But now I think he's the best. Palmer was my vice. So basically, now the captaincy switches to Palmer. And Saka gets the vice. Matty says, I've got a captain headache. Watkins, Palmer or Jackson? Personally, I would go Palmer captain, Watkins vice. That was me. So I guess the scout selection is going to be scuffed now. But let us know how many players have you got. It's Martinez, Trent, Timber, Dallo, Salah, Palmer, Saka, Bruno, Vissa, Evan Nilsson and Vardy. So it's down to 9 players now. How many have you guys got? So after that, I've just got Palmer, Saka. I've just got 2. I would have had 3. That's it. And it got better than 2. 3, 5. Evan's got 2. Apprentice has got 2. Mikey's got 3. Jay's got 2. Matty's got 1. I mean, yeah, I technically would have had 3 with Salah. 4 minus 2 plus 2. So you're bringing in 2 from here. You're surprisingly handsome. Did you have to say surprisingly? Did that word have to go in there? Surprisingly handsome. Thanks very much. Appreciate that. Start Hall or Nori? I'd start Hall. The mystery chip put a negative captaincy in one of your opponent's players. Who's your opponent? All 10 million other players. Fun fact, we're almost at 10.9 million, so we're about to pass last season's final player count by about Game Week 16. End of last season there was 10.9 million players, so FPL is back to growth after last season's drop. John says I think he's handsome. Thanks very much, John. Hi Oscar, great team. Captain Palmer or Watkins, thanks a lot. I think Palmer's the best this week. Like, Spurs just conceded a record XG by Bournemouth last game week. They've got Romero probably out, Van der Ven out, Davies out, Vicario out. Hi Oscar, my mum loves you and I wanted to ask you to wish her a Merry Christmas as a present from me, thanks. Merry Christmas to Trinity's mum. Hope you have a great time and enjoy the festive period. I don't know if you noticed, but I added snow to the intro slide. See? So I'll run that through the whole of December. I probably won't have it on this page though, because I think that would be a bit too overbearing, too distracting. Hi Oscar, why is the deadline not moved? That's a good question, John, because the precedents they set in the past was the deadline moves, and they haven't moved it. My best guess, if I'm honest, is they just haven't got the technical capabilities to do it so last minute, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe the guy that does the deadlines is on leave or something, or he's not in on the weekends, I don't know. Who knows? So let's have a look at the most. Who do you reckon the most transferred in player is this week then? It's not going to be someone that blanks, is it? Is it Trent? Who hauled last week that it could be? Most transferred in. Would it be Salah? Surely not Bowen. Watkins. Trent. Saka, Jackson. Surely it's not Jackson. Let's have a look. I don't know who it is. Oh, it is Saka. Just under 400,000 transfers. João Pedro, Watkins, Salah. No, 270,000. Salah, Saliba, Timber, Rogers, Kirkes, Trent. So, I mean, combined, there's about over 500,000 transfers in for blanking players. That's brutal. Most sold. And Bumo, Haaland, Welbeck, Smith Rowe, Kanate, Luis Diaz, Jackson, Gabriel, Wood, Cunha. I can't believe people are selling Cunha before these games. They've still got some nice games, to be fair. West Ham, Ipswich, Leicester. I just think there's no way I'm selling them before the next three. Even if it's a bit all in, going double. It's not done that badly for me. Like, I had a lot of comments saying I've lost the plot going double Wolves attack, but it's not done badly. I mean, Strand Larsen, he scored a brace there. He got an assist the week before. That's not too bad. Cunha obviously smashed it. The last 2 weeks he's done nothing, but he got 16, 12. I think I bought him here. So he's got 3 goals, 3 assists at the bottom. It's not been that bad. I wouldn't free hit this week, no. I'd save the free hit. Would you captain Jackson if you had him from Jago? If I had him now, I still wouldn't. You go Palmer. In my opinion. Raul versus Strand Larsen. Strand Larsen, 100%. Raul was benched last match. Again, that might have been because of the busy schedule, but he has been out of form recently. I think he's got like 1 assist in his last 5. And he's got bad games. AlFPL, how we doing? He says, thanks for the super chat, Alf. He says, yes, mate, is the deadline still at 11 AM or is it moving? The deadline will remain at 11. I thought it might move because that's what they've done in the past, but I guess the guy in charge of deadlines is on leave or he doesn't work weekends, because they tweeted this about an hour ago. Game Week 15 deadline will remain at 11 AM UK time today. No deadline move. Is KDB worth buying? No, I wouldn't go there despite the haul last week. It's just way too much of a minutes risk for me. I'd want to see him start him like 5-6 in a row and smashing it before I consider him. He's nowhere near in my thinking right now, personally. Captain Palmer or Watkins? I'd go Palmer. I would just imagine he's much better for minutes. Right, because Villa have got Champions League next midweek. So, does Duran come on? Does Duran start? Probably not. Definitely comes on. How early does Watkins come off? Palmer not in the squad for Europa Conference League, so he'll get a nice rest next week, midweek. So Palmer just makes the most sense to me. Plus, as I say, Spurs missing 3 centre-backs. Unless Romero makes it, plus Vicario. But I like Haaland as well if you've got Haaland. I think he's a great option. But I don't, so process of elimination, it's Palmer for me, Saka Vice. Any news on JP? Nothing on JP. He's fine, it's just yeah, some people are speculating whether he might not start. But if you got him, you play him. I'm not sure if I'd be buying him. It could be another Jackson V2 scenario. Start Aït-Nouri or Powell? I think I'd go Powell for the way better clean sheet odds. What tech stack did you use for your template? Do you mean the stream template? I use OBS and then I use Photoshop to make all my graphics. Basically. Reports United versus Forest will be off. Are you joking? Oh god, don't tell me that. Is that a troll? Anyone in Manchester? What's the weather like up there? I doubt it'll be off, because then City would be off. Not seen anything on that. Specifically, Vague says, play Smith Rowe against Arsenal, or take a hit to transfer him out in order to deal with the Salah situation. Cheers. If you haven't got Smith Rowe, if you haven't got Semenyo, I like Smith Rowe to Semenyo. I'd be tempted to do that. I mean, Semenyo's been so unlucky to blank recently. Like, look at this. 0.31 XGI, 0.56, 0.21. And he's got Ipswich, one of the worst defences, so I think that's probably worth it, because I'd be amazed if Smith Rowe gets anything against Arsenal. Dave Jones says Son to Semenyo or Cliver this week, or roll. I'm not sure Son to Semenyo is an upgrade. I would just roll, Dave, and then reassess next week. I mean, you definitely keep him for Southampton as well, so I'd give him the next 2 weeks. I think it'll be a full-strength Spurs team now, as far as who's actually available anyway. Like, Son won't be benched again, Porro won't be benched again. They'll both 100% start. Same for Jackson, he'll definitely start. So will Colwell, I'd imagine. Bruno to Semenyo? Nah, I'm not sure. It feels a bit sideways or downgrade. I'd keep Bruno this week, home to Forest. Morning, Andre. How we doing, mate? Start Colwell or Hall? Start Hall. Is the deadline still 11 AM? It is indeed, yeah. 11 AM deadline. Best defender to bring in? Timber, Saliba, Vardy, or Ruben Pinnock? I like Timber most out of those three, James. Emil says, Flecken to Raya or Mikalenko to Timber, have Gabriel. I'd go Flecken to Raya. You can sort Timber out later. Sort Mikalenko out later. Jamie says, wait, so what's happened? Liverpool versus Everton's been postponed. So both teams will have a blank game week. Here's the official announcement. Today's Merseyside derby at Goodison Park has been postponed due to adverse weather conditions. So that'll move into another game later in the season. Possibly it's a double game week, so we could have a hell of a fixture for Liverpool, like Wolves home, Everton away. It could be something like that. It could be another game week. Don't know yet. Too early to say. And it'll depend on Liverpool's League Cup run potentially as well. But if you've still got your triple captain, then that postponement's good news long term, even though it's annoying this week. So who's everyone got coming off their bench then, in terms of Salah or Trent or anyone else you've got? Maybe you've got Everton players. Has anyone got someone like Mikalenko coming off the bench? So I've started Wood, which isn't too bad. And I've still got Van Heck and Greaves, so I've got some depth there. That was something I've been saying in videos really all the way into the lead up to this month, that you never know when you're going to need your bench in terms of rotation. Obviously I never saw a weather postponement coming. It was always a small possibility. But the main thing was all the unexpected rotation, which we saw last game week, right? Jackson, Colwell, Son, Porro, Gabriel not in the squad. You just don't know when you're going to need your bench, so this month in particular is when you really need to have that depth, because it's non-stop FPL. To be fair, last game that I wasn't rewarded at all. I got 58 points. I had Van Heck come off my bench, Porro benched. Van Heck came on for Gabriel, so pretty poor week last week. Red arrow. Mr. F says, would you start Semenyo or Rogers? Semenyo hasn't looked good eye test wise. Lovely streaming content as usual. I feel like you start Rogers just because the fixture is that good, even if he's a bit less nailed for this week. I think Semenyo's okay. He's been a bit unlucky not to return more. What do you think on AI FPL team rating tools? I've never used one personally. I've never used one that rates your team. I use FPL Review to help my decisions. It doesn't rate your team though. It just kind of suggests possible moves to make, and I actually rarely follow the top suggestion, but it's good to get inspiration personally. I'm not sponsored by them or anything, but I use their data in my players to buy video because I think they're the best one there is. So I think it's a helpful tool for like bouncing ideas off. AG says Gordon or Matoma for Mbumo to fund transfers. I'd say Gordon over Matoma, AG. Gordon over Matoma for me. Timber nailed short term. He should be. Nothing's ever 100%, but White's out for a while. Tomiyasu's still out. So really it's just Partey that could play right back. So he's pretty safe, yeah. Sanchez or Fabianski keeper? Fabianski. FPL review projections seems to be one of the best. Yeah, they are solid. I think what people misinterpret is what they do is they run like 1,000 simulations of a game week, and then they provide you with the average score. So this week, the average score of their simulations was Haaland on 6.4, Palmer 6.3. Now that isn't to say that's what he scores. It's just the average of all the simulations. That's how it works. And football's so random that it will always be fairly wrong. But it will give you a small percentage edge, and long term that makes a difference. If that makes sense. Some people don't like projected points, that's fair enough, but it's basically like expected data is an extension of that. Projected points are an extension of expected data. So if a player is putting up 1G every game, then they're going to be projected to do well next game because their numbers are so good, if that makes sense. Rogers captain. No, I wouldn't captain Rogers. Just on the off chance he doesn't play. WTF happened with Paul? Bad weather. Storm Dara has hit Liverpool, so the game's off. Blank game week for Liverpool and Everton. Tuned in from New Zealand, up the FPL Focal. Thanks very much, Scrivy. Palmer, 45% captaincy poll. And then it's Saka, 32. Haaland 12%, 11% other. How many managers do you reckon still have Salah captain after the deadline? I reckon about 1 million still captain Salah this week. Just people that have missed the deadline or have stopped playing or haven't seen the news. So hopefully those people have got good advice. So if you've got Salah in your team and you were captain or vice captain, and then change it off him. So I've dropped Salah last on my bench now. I've not heard anything on any other games being postponed, so it looks like all the other games are on. FPL page struggling? Is that struggling, do you mean? Shouldn't be. It's loading fine for me. It takes a couple of seconds to load, but it's always like that. Hey Focal, why not update your live stream? Which part? Update what? I think Semenyo captain's a bit of a reach. I wouldn't go that far. If I was ranking the best captains, I'd say Palmer, Haaland, Saka. No, Palmer, Haaland, Watkins, Saka, Bruno. That'd be my top 5. The wind isn't even that bad. Apparently it's horrendous in Liverpool. It's like 70 miles per hour in some areas. Train lines have been cancelled. Some are delayed. There's all sorts going on. And that affects the fans' ability to travel to the game as well. So that's why they've called it off. Your captain is the place, is Andreas. Don't know about that. I hate captain and defenders though, because all it takes is that one goal conceded and you're in trouble. And you really need an attack in return. And ideally you need a goal. Wind isn't insane here in the Midlands. It's pretty bad down south here, but nowhere near as bad as up there. Happy birthday to Zaleka as well. Hope you have a good one. Do I sell Salah for Saka or De Bruyne? If you've got Salah, I think you just keep him. Unless you've got loads of free transfers to swap it around. I think you just keep him, because you want to get him straight back for Fulham. So, I think Salah's a hold. Unless you're in a really good position where you've got like 3, 4, 5 free transfers. And if you don't have Palmer, for example. I'm actually in Liverpool for the game. It's 80 mile per hour winds, and most of the public transport has been suspended. I went out for a little bit earlier, and it's pretty crazy, bordering on dangerous. Yeah, I mean, the official message is don't go outside unless you absolutely have to. It's very rare they issue a red warning, and they've issued a red warning, which is a danger to life warning. So yeah, stay safe. Don't go out and about unless you seriously need to. So it's no surprise they've called it off, really. On Thin Ice says, I live close to Liverpool. You literally couldn't play football in this wind. Sorty says, what forwards you bring in for 8 million or less? 8 million or less? There's not many options. I mean, Cunha's still got 3 nice games. Because Jackson and Isak are outside of that. That's the problem. Slanky's not great. Maybe Evan Nilsson. Possibly Evan Nilsson, I would say. I mean, Cunha's nice for the next 3. It's Cunha or Evan Nilsson. I think I'd say Evan Nilsson just about. Tuna says 8 Norrie and Bumo to Timber and Bowen. Yeah, that's nice. I like that. That's good. Good moves. I'm really hoping this week is the redemption for Bowen, because it was just unbelievable that he blanked last week. Like I said earlier, 1.62 XGI. And there was that moment where he played a ball to the back post, exactly like... Remember that ball that Salah played to Gakpo back post against City, and Gakpo made that run and just tapped it in. Bowen played a ball identical to that, but it was Ings on the receiving end, and he didn't have the instinct. Instead, he cut back. for the cutback pass. And if he'd just gone back post, it's a tap-in. And then there was a ball drilled across to Bowen that he hit first time on the volley, and it was an unbelievable save from Hermansen. Hermansen was just playing out of his mind that game, in fairness. So, uh-oh, doorbell. I might have to run down to get this. Give me 2 seconds while I go get that. Oh my god, it was that really nice postman again. He's an absolute legend. He's lashing it down out there, and he goes, "Morning, Osk." And I was like, "Hello, mate." And he was like, "I didn't want to leave your parcel outside here." I was like, "No worries." He's so nice. He calls me Osk and Oski. Oh, I'm out of breath now, running up the stairs and down. Right, what are we talking about? Yeah, I like 8 Norien and Bumo to Timber and Bowen. FPL 1 says, Hall or Zabanye for Greaves, or start Greaves and roll. I really like Hall for their next 3. I don't like Greaves so much. I wouldn't be very confident in an Ipswich clean sheet, whereas Hall, there's definite clean sheet potential there the next 3. Potentially attack and return. He's taken the odd set piece, he gets quite far forward. Any good Mikalenko replacements? It depends how much you've got. Hull would be my number 1 pick, but if you literally have no money, there's not really any options for 4.3 million or less. Like, the only one I could think of earlier was Howsam, who's 4.3 for Bournemouth, because Senesi could be out for almost a season. What's the package show us? I can do another terrible box opening if you want. I need to be careful not to leak my address. I don't think anyone will guess what's in this, but guess. If anyone can guess what's in this. Or maybe I'll shake it. Oh! I can't get into this right now. Rubber bands, a box opener, the mystery chip, more soap. You know what? I've been making soap recently. Hang on, sorry, on a tangent. Wait there. I've been making soap as a Christmas present. It smells unbelievable. Look at this. I thought I'd try and do something homemade as a Christmas present. I ended up making loads. This one's apple and cinnamon. That one was lemon. Lavender. And then this one's honey. It looks almost edible. God, that smells so good. Side hustle. I'm not selling them though, it's just like a homemade Christmas present. I was trying to think of something to do. FPL soap. I'll have to open an Etsy store. FPL soap. Right, did I miss a message from Evesy? Sorry, Evesy. It said, should I sell Smith Rowe from -4? And if so, who should I buy for under 7.3 million? How much is Gordon? I think you can afford Gordon, can't you? I like Smith Rowe to Gordon. I think you can afford him. Unavailable, sorry, we are unable to load the requested page. What's happened here? Oh, there we go. Yeah, Gordon's 7.2. I like that. I'd say that's worth it. Now, I think the only thing to check, and it's hard to know about the whole context of your team, is like who does better long term? Trent for 7 mil or Gordon 7.3? So if going for someone like Semenyo instead leaves you the money for Trent, that's worth it. Soap API. Tyler Durden. I don't know who that is. Does he make soap? FPL the OG soap. Who's Tyler Durden? Fictional character. Oh, from Fight Club. Brilliant. Yeah, I've got a whole tub full of soap there. It smells so good in here now. Might just leave it out. Yeah, that's the only thing to keep in mind, Evesy, whether you can get to Trent if you go for a cheaper one. I think Smith Rowe to Semenyo is alright for a hit. I just don't fancy Fulham to do well with these upcoming games. Too late, I've already Googled it. So, going back further down, let me catch up on chat. Yeah, so I like Hall, FPL 1. I'd make that move. Any good Mikalenko? Yeah, I did that one, so Hall. Well, they put the deadline back. No, they announced earlier that the deadline is going to remain at 11 o'clock. Oh! Hasbullah's back. The deadline is going to remain at 11 o'clock, so no change in that respect. So we're here for the next half an hour till the deadline. Keep your questions coming. Dave says, are we really favouring Palmer over Saka for captain? I think I am, yeah. Like, as I said, Spurs conceded a record XG by Bournemouth last match. I'm not sure if that was ever for Bournemouth or in a home game, but it was a record one way or another. They were just so poor. So poor. They've got Romero probably out again, Van de Ven out, Davies has now got a hamstring injury, Vicario out. I think it could get ugly this week if Chelsea beat Spurs comfortably. Did you guys see the fans booing Postecoglou when he went over to clap the fans? He was getting booed, and it could get ugly this week if, you know, Spurs get rolled over. What happened to Andy and Dan? I'm not sure. Are they not live? No idea. Tony, thanks for the super chat. There's no message. If you meant to put a message there, then chuck it in chat, Tony. I'll try and spot it. FPL Bateman, Chelsea had 5.29 XG last game. Obviously, Southampton were down to 10 men and missing players, but, like, I don't know. And he's hungover. Oh, yeah, he was at a wedding, wasn't he? I saw his photo with a pint of Guinness. I did enjoy that. But he must have had a late one and cancelled the stream. Look out, the website's acting up. Is it really? Well, I've still got 25 minutes. You love it being a gooner. True. I did enjoy that result, but it was a bit annoying because I had Semenyo blank and Porro blank as well, benched. I can't believe it only ended 1-0. Romero trained now. Yeah, I think that's what I said. Like, there's a chance Romero plays. I'm not sure. There's a chance for him. No Van de Ven or Davies or Vicario. FPL 1 and Boomer out. Cliver or Ahmad or Rogers. Best 5.5. I'd say Rogers out of all of those is the best. Start Ahmad or Lewis. I'd chase the upside and start Ahmad, Mac. Ronaldo says Lewis to Arsenal defence. I've got 2 free transfers. 2.4 million. If we knew Gabriel's fine, it's just he's the most obvious answer. But then it becomes a bit more difficult without knowing. Maybe Timber, just to be safe. Because at least we know he's fine. Gabriel's a bit of a question mark still. And Arteta gave nothing away as usual in his press conference. Gareth says, thoughts on Isak or Wood as a differential captain? I like Isak. Wood, definitely not. Not for me. Playing away at Man United. Isak I like. That goal he scored last game, unbelievable. I mean, that must have been one of the fastest goals this season in terms of how well he hit that ball. Absolute rocket. And it's Brentford as well, who've got 1 clean sheet all season. You're playing your free hit. Nah, avoid Calafiori. Tony Rad says, thanks to climate change, I will vanquish all opponents due to Liverpool versus Everton postponement this game week. Team Dara. Silver pin ain't easy. Thanks very much, Tony. Appreciate that. Chaos, isn't it? It's absolute chaos this week. First on bench, 8 Nori or Greaves, please, Oscar. 8 Nori, Ash. Pretty solid option first on your bench there. Jason says, I bought Trent and Salah in last night. Any advice? It's not really worth getting them back out now. But it depends on your bench, Jason. Like, if there's anyone else on your bench that's just terrible, I'd consider selling them for a hit and keep Trent and Salah, because Trent and Salah are just unreal still long term. It is what it is. One thing I will say on this whole situation is never make your transfers early in the day. If I'm going to make a transfer, it's always really late at night. And I understand like some of you at different time zones and so on. But if I'm making a transfer, it's normally like 11 PM, midnight. Especially if it's like just before the game starts. Because there's embargoed quotes from press conferences that come out at like 10 o'clock. There's just no reason to ever make a transfer early. And obviously last night was when the rumours started to come out that the game could be postponed. And a meeting was going to happen this morning. So I guess like if you did bring in either of those players yesterday, the lesson is to make your moves late at night, just in case. Just in case. If it's earlier in the week and you're catching price rises, there's nothing you can do. But when it's like yesterday, for example, there's no reason not to wait until as late as you can. Yeah, and that'll add up over time, long term. You know, lots of people were going to buy Trent this week, but they didn't even bother last night, even though he was rising just in case of the postponement. And sometimes waiting for more information can actually have a massive knock-on effect in terms of your points. Massey says, Mbumo to Semenyo or Miko to Hall, Murray Gabriel's out. So are you going to have no defence? Is that what you're saying? Quite a tricky one, that, because I like Semenyo. But I'd probably go Miko to Hall and just fix the immediate problem in your team, yeah. Just give Mbumo another week. They might play 2 up top. They sometimes set up with like a 5-3-2 or 3-5-2 against tougher opposition. So we might see Mbumo up top. But yeah, recently he's been so poor. Pushed out wide, different role. Sorry, Paredes. So Spurs' style of play suits Palmer to bet against. Yeah, I mean, they play with a high line. We saw Brighton line up similarly with a high line, and they got ripped apart, didn't they? That was when Palmer got 25, was it? Back in game week 6. And Postacoglu is quite stubborn in that respect. Like, he does say, we've got a style of play and we're sticking to it. Do you remember last season when they had, was it a red card or 2 red cards against Chelsea? And they still were lined up, like on the halfway line. And Chelsea were just pinging balls over the top, and Jackson got a hat-trick. So yeah, I agree with that. Jay Wills, thanks for the super chat. Struggling with this game, says Porro, Gabriel, Rico, Nori and Cruz. Which 3 to start? I'd start Rico, Gabriel, and then it's Porro or Nori. Probably Nori, just about. I just can't imagine a world where Spurs keep a clean sheet. And that's making me think I should start Van Heck, but I think Leicester have scored in every game but one. So, I'd be surprised if they keep one either. So I've just gone for Porro for the attacking threat, basically. Start 8 Nori or Colwell from Magnus. Start 8 Nori. iFan Meister says, I want to get Saka and who to sacrifice? Watkins, Jackson and Solanke. Solanke, definitely out of those 3. Solanke out. Watkins and Jackson are great. Jay Wills says, take a hit to remove Mikalenko down to 10 players, nothing in the bank. I probably would, you know. As the cliche goes, if you've got 10 players or 9 or 8 in a blank game week, excuse me, taking a -4 is a -2. As long as who you buy gets at least 2 points. So, the problem is there's just no great options for 4.3 million or less. The only one I could think of earlier was Howson from Bournemouth, who scored last match, started in centre-back. And Senesi's out long term, so I think he's your only option. Yeah, you could take a chance on him. It's not great though, because, I mean, do Bournemouth keep a clean sheet? Maybe. But that's probably what I would do. Just so you're not down to 10 players, and it's probably only a -2. Unless they concede twice, then it's a -3. Luke says, late to the stream, what's the advice with Trent in? Yeah, I'd just keep him. At this point, just keep him. One sec. Yeah, I would just keep Trent. It's not worth selling him, because you're just going to want him back for Fulham home, Game Week 16. If you see what I'm saying. I'd only consider selling him if you've got like 4 or 5 free transfers. And if there's a nice move you can make this week, like buy him, I don't know, Timber, for example. And then you can also buy Trent next week, whether it's back for him or for someone else. Otherwise, just keep him at this point. We're all in the same boat. Salah says, for a -4, do I sell in Boomo and buy Rodgers or Gordon? For a -4... I don't mind it for Gordon. I think he's going to do really well next 3. I'd love to have Gordon in my team, but I just don't have a way to get to him. I mean, I went Bowen last week, because obviously Gordon had Liverpool, but then I think Gordon scored, didn't he, that game? For a -4. In theory, over the next 3, you'll get that -4 back, so... yeah, I don't mind that. I'd go Gordon out of any of those. Lewis says, thoughts on Salah out and get back next week? Yeah, same answer as Luke, basically. I wouldn't do it unless you've got like 4 or 5 transfers. I'd consider it if you've got 2, perhaps. And if you don't have Palmer, that's the other niche scenario. Salah to Palmer and then back. Or find the money for Salah somewhere else for a -4 if need be. But I'd only consider it really in that situation. Joe says, often you play with 10 players because some score 0. It does happen, yeah. That's why you got to be careful taking hits. I mean, as last week showed, lots of people were down to 10 men because of the rotation. But, I mean, it rarely happens that you have players scoring 0. It's a bit of a disaster when that happens, but it does happen. Nori got 0 last week, didn't he? KDB for Salah this week? Nah, I wouldn't do that. Clean sheet odds. There they are. Arsenal top this week, 42%. And then it's Villa, Man United, City, West Ham. So it's not terrible playing Fabianski if you need to. Start Fabianski if your other keeper's not above West Ham here. So if you've got Raya, Kelleher, Anana... I don't think anyone's got Ortega, have they? The anti-FPL record was broken. I saw that. History in the making. Did you guys see this? The new lowest anti-FPL score of all time. I'll pull it up on screen for you. If anyone doesn't know, anti-FPL is a game where the lowest score wins. But it's not as simple as just picking players that don't play or taking hits. The player has to play. So everyone you have has to play, otherwise you're given points. And there's a whole anti-FPL community. I actually did a video interviewing the anti-FPL world champion last year. Quite a fun video if you haven't seen that, a bit different. And that was the guy who'd won the whole thing twice, 2-time world champion. And they got -3. The previous record was 4 points. They absolutely nailed it. They captained Stevens for -8. They had Dawson for -4. Duran came on, got a yellow. -3. Smash the record. I'm not sure whose team it was, but it was someone that plays anti-FPL. There's a small little corner of the FPL community that play a completely different game to what we're all playing right now. It's quite cool. If you haven't seen it, check out the video I did interviewing the anti-FPL champion. It kind of goes through how the game works and how to play. Luke says, Mitoma or Bowen for a 2-week punt. Sorry, one sec. I need to blow my nose. I'm back. Mitoma or Bowen for a 2-week punt, then it won't be him. Bowen. Bowen is a 2-week punt, I would say. Wolves home, Bournemouth away. You might end up keeping him for 4. Brighton home, Southampton away is not bad. But yeah, I'd say Bowen just about. Completely nailed. He's the talisman. Alexander says, I've got a weak bench. I'm thinking of a 1-game week transfer / punt differential. Salah to either Mitoma, Doku or Gordon, not Saka. Thoughts? I don't like it selling Salah this week. Really. I'd only do it if you've got like 4 or 5 transfers. Maybe at a stretch 3. I'd probably consider it if I had 3. And if I had no bench, you know. Out of those, I'd go Gordon. And then buy him back. But I just wouldn't do it if you're sitting on like 1 or 2 transfers. You know what I mean? Because you're going to have to get Salah back. Have to. So then that rules out doing anything else with your team. If there's another issue, you're on a -4. Obviously, if you haven't got Palmer, then I'd consider it as well. And then swap back. But no, I wouldn't do it if you're sitting on 1 or 2 transfers, personally. I know it's not great, but like everyone's in the same boat. A lot of people are going to have no bench. Some people are going to have 9, 10 players this week. Tony says, so Oscar, are you strongly recommending to bring in Justin just in case to hedge against the Liverpool versus Everton postponement? His form has been somewhat dodgy this FPL season. Just in case. I was thinking, who the hell's just in case? I was like, James Justin? Yeah, I'd probably buy just in case. Just in case. Who does he play for, Case? Ash says, biscuits for Teddy, super manager of the chaos, Oscar. Thanks very much, Ash. I'll make sure I get him biscuits. That's actually, I didn't even tell you what was in the box. This box has got 100 ping pong balls in it for Teddy. He loves ping pong balls. Because he's a chihuahua, he just loves little toys like that. And I normally give him like 1 ping pong ball a day. And he loves it. Keeps him busy for like half an hour. So we've run out. So that's a box of 100 ping pong balls. Thanks, Ash. OP Talent says, Welbeck to João Pedro or roll and play Strand. Yeah, roll. OP Talent. Just roll. Never know, Welbeck could play, but Strand's fine. Start Strand. That's what I would do. Disgusting says Rodgers, Digne, Hall and Colwell bench 2. So bench Colwell. And I mean, given the clean sheet odds, I'd start Digne over Hall. It's not out of the question that Maatsen gets a start. That's the only thing. But you could say the same for Rodgers. But I would just start them both, chase the upside. Because if they both start, there's huge potential there. Start Rodgers and Digne. Here for FPL says Wooden and Bumo to Isak and Rodgers -4. I have Jackson as well. Yeah, I like that. I think that's okay for a -4. I'm really jealous of Isak owners, so if you've got him, like, I wish I was you, because his next 3 are ridiculous. Like, there's genuine Hall potential in all of his next 3 games. So I think that's worth it, just given how poor Mbumo's been recently and Wood's fixtures turning. Bertman says, thanks for advising me to hold firm with Isaac last week. No worries, Bertman. That almost such a tight call. But I'm glad it came off for you, holding on to him. Nice points and nice fixture this week. Thanks everyone that's tuned in so far. Oh, we've got 10 minutes till the deadline. That flew by. I hope you've all enjoyed this stream. Still got about 10 minutes left. I'm just taking a screenshot of my team to post on Twitter, Blue Sky and Instagram. If you're not following me in any of those, search FPL Focal. GW15 rolled the transfer. So yeah, Palmer captain, sack of ice. That's posted. Right, keep your questions coming. Last 10 minutes till the deadline. Alfred's going differential. Saka captain. Why Semenyo over Kluivert? I've had Semenyo for ages. His underlying numbers are just better. Obviously, like, Kluivert got the hat-trick, but he's not going to get a hat-trick or penalties every game. But yeah, he is a nice pick as well, given that he's on pens and Evan Nilsson's not, as we know now. Yeet says, bench depth coming in clutch 2 game weeks in a row. Final captain poll. Yeah, good shout. Let's do that. Also, put your captain in the chat because I'm going to drop 5 gifted memberships to chat and that goes to random people that are active in chat. So just put your captain in the chat as well and I'll drop 5 gifted memberships. Who is your captain for Game Week 15? So we'll have Salah, Palmer, Haaland and other. Right, 5 gifted incoming as well. Let me just work out how to do it. It's that one. Boom, on their way. Good luck, everyone. Right, let me smash through these super chats as well. Flecken or Verbruggen, Porro or Lewis / Nori. So start Verbruggen, Marcus. I think you've got to start Lewis, just for the way better clean sheet odds this week than Porro or Nori. I just hope after the rest last week he gets the start. That's what I'll do, Marcus. Tony says, just in case, playing for Embargo FC. OP Talent says, start Verbruggen or Flecken. I'd start Verbruggen away at Leicester, yeah. Carliga, thanks for the 21 months. Isak or Watkins? Cunha and Pedro already in. I'd say Isak between those. Slightly better fixtures. He's cheaper. Thank you to FPL Focal for the 5 gifted memberships. Yeah, Salah last on bench. If anyone's missed it, you've got 5 minutes to sort your team out because Everton versus Liverpool has been postponed. So that's a blank game week. It's possible that we end up with a really nice double game week later in the season. It could be something like that, where they'll play Wolves and Everton. So if you still got your triple captain, you're looking good there. But to be confirmed what happens to that fixture. It'll be, I think it's like game week 19 at the absolute earliest, but it could be much later, depending on the League Cup. Will Jackson play? Yeah, he'll definitely start after last game week. Same is true for a lot of players that were benched last game, like Porro, Son, and so on. The app's a bit laggy, is it? What's happened? It always takes a few seconds to load, but I'll probably fix that. We had to change how it works, basically, because the costs went through the roof. By the way, if anyone's not got the app, it's completely free. Search FPL Focal on the App Store. You can check your live rank, bonus points, fixture ticker tool. You can look at the teams of footballers that play FPL. It's all free. And there's an optional membership as well for £1.49 where it hides all the ads. You can change the theme. You can move the widgets around, hide the widgets you don't like. Full customization. And it supports the running costs because it's so expensive now. It's so expensive to run the app. I can't even put in words, but it's a good problem to have because it's... Oh, the FPL app is at laggy. Okay, well make sure you do your transfers ASAP. Yeah, the app's laggy. Try the website if you can't do it. Mine's not even refreshing on the app. Oh, there we go. Yeah, it took like 5 seconds for me. Captain Bruno or Palmer? I think Palmer's better. Will Salah auto sub? Yeah, he will. If you want to be a bench wanker, you start Salah and get your subs off the bench, but whatever. Captain poll results: 52% Palmer, 12% Salah, 8% Haaland, 28% other. So a lot of Watkins captain is Bruno, I guess. Oh, I put Salah on it. Sorry. I'm an idiot. Palmer, Haaland. I meant to write Saka, not Salah. Apologies. Another one's up. We've got 3 minutes, so get your votes in again. Sorry about that. Yeah, Bowen's a shout. Watkins. Go Anthony, my captain always. Cross says, I'm a bench wanker. I knew a few of you were lurking here. Nev says, glad to see you've recovered from last week. Yeah, I'm pretty much all good now. Will Fabianski start? Probably, but who knows? They are bang out of form, so not out of the question, is it, for Areola to play? So I'm rolling the transfer this week, and I've got Woods coming off my bench for Salah, basically, and then next week I'll decide if I'm going to buy Trent or how I'm going to buy Trent, because I really want to get Trent. So it might be Colwill in for Porro and then Vardy up to Trent. I'm not sure yet. I could fund it by selling Woods. I haven't decided yet, but this week it's a roll for me. What moves have you all made this week? What did everyone do transfer-wise? Start Hall or Porro? Hall. Cunha or João Pedro? Cunha. You brought KDB in. Adams going Jackson captain. Rolling. Free hit. The lap for Evan Nilsson. I like Evan Nilsson. And Mbeumo to Gordon. Nice move, Wildstone. Rolled and Trent's coming in next week. Same plan as you, Ridge. Haaland to Isak. Lewis to Cash. Interesting one. Did score last week, Cash, in fairness. Finally good to roll again. And Mohamed says, Mbeumo or João Pedro for starting. João Pedro. You've got like 30 seconds to do that. João Pedro against Leicester. Let's check my team did save. It did. Palmer, captain, Saka vice. So, as the deadline hits in a second, we'll do the predictions to see what you're all saying as far as this game week and how you think it will go. Let's take slow mode off and then switch over to this. Guesses in the chat. Slow mode is off. Everton versus... Oh, no, never mind. Aston Villa versus Southampton. Predictions in the chat. Slow mode is off. Get your predictions in. Two 2-0 to Liverpool. We're doing Aston Villa versus Southampton. 3-1. I guess I have to put something in, don't I? So I'll just put that. I think it moves it till later. 2-0 to Villa. Alright, we'll go with that. Brentford v Newcastle. Brentford v Newcastle. Guesses in the chat. Put which game you're predicting as well, just so I know which one you're guessing for. 2-2. Really? 3-1 to Newcastle. 2-2. 2-2. 2-2. Okay. Crystal Palace versus Man City. Palace v Man City. Palace playing home. Selhurst Park. 3-0 to Palace. 3-1 City. 3-1 City. 2-1 City. 2-1. 3-1. Okay. Man United v Forest. at Old Trafford. What do you reckon? Slow mode's off, so you can go wild with your guesses. 3-1 United. 0-0 vibes. 1-0 United. 1-1. 1-1. Alright. Fulham versus Arsenal. Fulham playing home this one. Do Arsenal keep a clean sheet? Fulham v Arsenal. What are we saying? Saka Hall? Why didn't they postpone the deadline? Good question. Maybe the guy that's in charge of the deadlines and the IT doesn't work weekends. Yeah, a bit odd. In the past they've moved the deadlines, but it was quite a last minute change, so maybe that's why. 2-0 Arsenal. Ipswich v Bournemouth. Quite a lot of you have got Semenyo, Kluivert, Evan Nilsson. Did Bournemouth get a win here to go even further up the table? 1-0 Ipswich. 2-1 Ipswich. 1-0. We're predicting a low scoring game, are we? 1-0. Okay. Leicester versus Brighton. Leicester v Brighton. Can Rude make it 2 wins on the bounce since taking over? After that defeat over West Ham last game week. Or Brighton get the better of them. Herzler, I believe, will be back in charge, right? He was suspended for the last match. So his touchline ban's over. 2-2. 3-2. You reckon high scoring? Okay. Tottenham v Chelsea. This one's going to be a great watch. Boxer meet canvas, nice. In fact, let's stick it back on the intro song. Spurs v Chelsea, what are we saying? 12-0? Not even that. I'm not accepting that. I'm not even 5-4. Surely not. 3-1? Alright. And lastly, West Ham versus Wolves. Yeah, the deadline's passed. We're just doing some predictions. Two-all. Oh, mate, I'd love a 2-all. I would love a 2-all. I've got Bowen, Strand Larson and Cunha in that one. Alright, there we go. Done. Alright, I'm going to have a final check if there's anyone to raid. If not, we'll wrap up there. Let's see who's live. FPL Mogs. Everyone head over to here. We're going to go raid FPL Mogs. Spam Focal raid in his chat. He's got 4 viewers. Let's go send him some love. He's a nice guy and he makes nice content. And he's streaming right now. So everyone head over there. Spam Focal raid in his chat. Thank you all, as always, for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed the stream. And if you didn't appreciate the stream, then drop a like and make sure you subscribe. That's it from me. Good luck, everyone. Focal out.